So, welcome to this session. We're going to have a very nice combination in this particular class of elements that promote fitness and good health and a calm state of mind, I hope. We'll work on coordination and strength and balance, all those good things. Let's begin by getting ourselves to the mat and taking a lying down position. At some point, you're going to need your yoga strap, your belt. So have one of those handy. And what else? Just the nice things for the end of the class when we do our relaxation, like a blanket and an eye covering. So in your reclining position, on your back, have your legs bent and your feet on the floor. And then one knee into your chest, the other knee into your chest. Hold at the front of your knees and move the thighs away from you, straightening your arms. Pull your knees in and feel that posterior tilt through your hips as you move the knees away, move the knees in. And let's emphasize breathing. So inhaling and exhaling from posterior tilt to the pelvis to anterior tilt. Hips move away from you, hips move in. But the important thing is your breath. So let's go for a few more rounds and deepen the breath to whatever extent we can. Shoulders still can be relaxed. And then finishing these cycles, bring your feet back to the floor, pause for a moment, drop your arms by your side. Then one knee in again, second knee in. Reach around to the backs of your thighs and give your legs a stretch up. Straighten your legs and then bend your knees to your chest. Let's say inhale, legs straight, exhale, flexed. We're not aiming for the blue ribbon of leg stretches. We're just doing a little warm up here with the breath. One more straight legs. As you bend your legs, then bring your feet back down to the floor and drop your arms by your side. Let's continue with we could call these leg stretches. Grab your belt, extend out your left leg along the floor, bend your right leg into your chest. Make that floor leg very straight from hip to heel, and then catch the belt around the ball of the right foot and extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Hold either side of the belt, so a two-hand grip onto your belt. And now let's go for a little bit more leg extension, but feel the weight of the leg back into the hip, so the back of that pelvis is firmly on the floor. And then let's do a little mobility work here, so bending the leg and straightening. Flex. Just a little knee bend will do the job, and straighten. Push away through the resistance of the belt, and then knee towards your ribs. Lovely. Let's hold the leg in extension just a little while longer until you can feel the front thigh muscle and hugging to the bone. Grab the belt just into your right hand. Extend your left arm out from your left shoulder, palm downwards. And then let's see what that's like to take the right leg to the right. Keep that floor leg very firmly stretching away. You always want to check and see that you've got a rather loose grip on the belt, that you're not tensing your hand to hold on. Can you press down on the left side as much as on the right hip side? Left hip pressing down. And then alternately bending and straightening. A little knee bend, a little push away. And see what the mobility is like on the right leg extension out to the right. And then hold that as a static stretch. Stretch behind the knee a little bit more. Bring the leg back to center. And then swap the belt over to your left hand. Bring your right arm onto the floor. Press your palm down. We've done these in other sessions before, but it's always a new experience when you're very aware of your alignment. So feel as that right leg crosses to the left, that the head of the right leg is still firmly towards the floor. You're not lifting the hip, you're not lifting the buttock. And maybe a little flexion and straightening in this position. And as you straighten the leg this time, dip your right foot slightly towards the right side. So as though your big toe, I don't know, like it was a vessel and you were pouring down towards the floor with your big toe and stretching the outer ankle. It feels like a really healthy movement for my ankle. And then back to center. And then slip the belt off, grab hold at the back of the thigh, and give a circling movement to your ankle, circling the toes and the foot bones and the ankle bones. We go one direction and then pause and go the other way. Feels like even though I'm working with my foot, my ankle, I can feel that all through my other leg muscles. Fold that leg down, and that's complete for the time being. Just rest your leg straight out and feel it, kind of comparing it to the left leg. Allow the right leg to rest completely, and the foot and the hip roll out. Bring your legs all the way back together, feet and knees, and then bend your left leg in and take hold of your left foot with your belt. We've got that two-hand grip onto the belt and extending the leg, just extending first up. And then let's see what it feels like bending alternately and straightening. And this is my stiffer side, which is a good reason to keep the leg stretches in your repertoire, because there's always a stiffer side and you want to at least maintain the level of flexibility that you have. And then as we completely straighten the leg, push up through the ball of the foot, but feel the weight of the left thigh bone back into its hip socket. And then left hand holds the belt, right arm out from the right shoulder. I'm going to track that left leg to the left side, but at the same time as you're pressing down through your right hand, right arm, right shoulder blade. And then just because we can, and we can see what the movement is like on this leg, alternately a little knee bend, a little straight leg. Knee bends, knee straightens, and then we're going to hold that straight leg, straighten behind your knee, Press down through the right side and right hip and bring the leg back to center. Take up the belt into your right hand, holding the belt onto the left foot. Take the left leg to the left. I'm only going as far as I can keep the left buttock on the floor, the back of the left pelvis. You can get some nice neck rotations here if you like. And then that little bend of your knee, just a small movement, and straighten. I do notice this leg is very stiff on the inner thigh. And then come back to center. Leave the belt to the side, hold the back of the leg, and then give your left foot a little spin. And the other way. And then release that leg and extend it out and feel what it's like against its mate. So I can feel the hip drop out, the knee, and the inner arch of the left leg. Very good. And then bend your legs in. Let's do a little work on our abdominal muscles for building some core strength. So take a position near to the wall, and I'll demonstrate. So reclining again, have your feet on the wall with the right angle behind your knees and a right angle at your hips. So I just have to lift my head a little bit to see if I'm approaching those right angles. So once I've done that, I can rest my hands on the front of my thighs, my shoulders are relaxed. And what's that like to press my feet into the wall and then release? So alternately pressure and release. For me, I begin to create a pelvic tilt. The hips move towards my ribs. I release, and then they move away. At the same time, the hamstrings tighten and my lower buttocks, pelvic floor, and core muscles. So if that was a pretty simple movement for you, and you can take the next step, move your feet slightly away from the wall, only a couple of inches. Keep your feet flexed, dorsiflexed. Keep your hands on the front of your thighs, and then press away with your feet towards the wall as though you were making contact, but you're not now. And then release. The core muscles switched on. I can feel that for myself from my pubic bone to my navel. And then they let go upon releasing. And a little pressure, a little tilt there. Imagine that you're moving your heels down towards the floor. And you might get a little more activity in the support at the back of the legs. One more time. And then feet back to the wall, resting there for a moment. Let the core muscles slacken and relax. And then let's come back to position ourselves away from the wall and on the mat once more. Keep your belt handy. And when you're lying on your back, take up the belt. And so here I am. I'm lying on my back, legs bent, feet on the floor, near to my buttocks. I take up the belt, and I'm going to hold it a two-hand grip. I doubled it up so it sort of gets the length of the belt out of the way. And then if I pull tension on the belt, it'll help me straighten my arms, and it'll begin to create a little more work for my upper arm muscles. That's what I'm looking for, is toning those upper arm muscles. And then let's take that belt overhead and see what that's like without going all the way to the floor. So keep the tension on, keep the heat in the arm muscles as you extend the arms, but not quite to the floor. Are your arms straight here? And can you straighten a little bit more? So it feels like you're straightening right through upper arms into the armpits. And then raise that arm up to the vertical. And both arms straighten up. Keep the heat on the tension on the belt. And then one more time, arms overhead. Coming near to the floor, but not quite there. Resisting going all the way. Straighten through the elbows a little bit more. And then let's give it a break. Bring the arms up. Just rest your belt onto your hips like that. And then remember your pelvic tilts. We'll leave the belt just momentarily. Rest your hands onto your abdomen and alternately tuck the hips and tilt away. Tilt the hips away. Tilt the hip bones towards you. Use your breath. Let's say exhale, hips towards you. Inhale, away. You're kind of rolling on the wheel of the sacrum. Okay, let's do 2 movements at the same time. Take up your belt again. Take up the tension on the belt. Press into your feet to lift the hips away from the floor into a little back bend. Tilt the hips towards you. Inhale, raise up, and take that belt overhead and towards the floor, but not all the way down. So pelvis is up, overhead stretch of your arms, and then bring the belt to the vertical as you lower the hips back down. Arms stay straight, tension stays on. Let's go again. Let's say inhale, arms overhead, hips up. Beautiful. Exhale, coming back down to ground and arms straight up towards the ceiling. Just one more of those. When you bring the belt overhead this time and your hips are elevated, bring the belt all the way to the floor. Get maximum stretch here and stretch your thighs away from your hips. Thighs are tracking straight, and then everything coming down in a slow fashion. Arms come forward and down, and hips come down. Leave the belt off to the side. Let's do one more movement, which just takes a little bit of coordination. In your bridge, arms down by your sides, straight arms, palms pressed down. Take your right foot forward of your left foot. Your feet and your hips are, your legs are still hip width apart. Press your both feet into the mat and lift up. Come up into your small bridge. Press your feet with equal pressure and feel that difference that it makes to have the legs and the feet asymmetrical. My left hamstring feels like it has to work so much more. And then down to ground. Draw that right foot back, feet are in a line. And left foot forward of your right foot. Press your both feet. Equal pressure, feel your both footprints. And come up. And what is that like? Can you feel the work through the hamstrings, the backs of the legs? Down to ground. And draw that foot in. Take a breath or two, and we're going to move into all fours position onto your mat. Rolling to the side. And as nearly as you can, place your hands directly underneath your elbows and your shoulders. When you're in this position, you're weight bearing. You're doing the bearing of your own weight of your upper part of your body down through your arm bones, down through your wrist bones. Open your fingers, spread your fingers, spread your thumbs. Then bring your chest a little forward. Lead with your front chest and the armpit chest. And then go back a little bit, bringing your buttocks towards your heels slowly. Full arm extension as your buttocks moves back. Come forward. Feel how easy it is on the inhalation to open your chest forward. On the exhalation, use your belly muscles and lead with your buttocks back towards your heels. One more time, opening your chest forward and exhale, drawing back. Let's add a strengthening movement for your legs here, and then balancing your weight back in all fours position. Take just your right leg back, tuck the toes of your right foot under, press them into the mat with that leg straight, and then lean back into your right leg. Bring your chest forward again, release that leg to lift. So point your toes, plantar flexion, lift your right leg, but not your right hip. Keep your chest open forward. My gaze is towards the front end of the mat. Lower that leg, bend your knee in, balance on both knees again, and take your left leg back. Tuck the toes of your left foot under, stretch back into your left heel, stretch away, and then releasing that leg to lift it. You're lifting just to the height of your right hip, not any higher. The left hip is not lifting. Point your toes, lift your chest, look forward, and then bring that leg in. I'm going to take a rest for my wrists. Bend your elbows, and on your forearms, flip your hands over and open and close your hands in light fists a few times. Good, back to all fours position. Let's add an arm movement here and lift your left hand off the floor and extend your left arm out in front of you. Long left arm just lifted to the height of your head or your ear, and then replace it. Second side, right hand lifted, extend the right arm out. We're on just the three limbs at the moment. And then right hand down. Let's make it a contralateral movement where one side of the body stretches against the other side, and left arm comes up, right leg comes up, stretch away. Replacing your hand, replacing your knee, other side, right arm, left leg, and back to ground, and happily taking child's pose to whatever degree your knees will allow, your hips will allow at the moment. Although not a completely relaxed child's pose, lift up onto the tips of your fingers. Your arms are straight in front of you, your elbows are lifted. Tiptoe your fingers forward. So as you look forward to where you've placed your hands, your chest moves forward. You've got this really long line through the frontal body from your hips to your armpits, armpits to your fingertips. And then from here, all fours position will take us into downward facing dog pose. Lift your upper part of your back up towards the ceiling. Draw your navel towards your spine at the same time. Push into your hands gently, tuck your toes under, and lift away into downward facing dog pose. Let's not be static in the position, but walk the dog by alternately moving one heel down, lift the opposite heel. Go slowly. Keep your gaze towards your front ankles. And notice when you lower the heels how that increases the flexion of the front of the ankle. And that's what we're aiming for, is even if your heels are still a little bit elevated, you're stretching them towards the floor to increase that dorsiflexion of the ankle. And that's a beautiful movement for your mobility of your ankles. And then hold that dog pose. Widen your stance so your feet are a little further apart. And then bend your knees and hike your buttocks up towards the ceiling and give yourself a good shoulder stretch. Beautiful. Take a walk forward. Walk your hands back. And in your forward bend position as you are coming out of dog pose, bend your knees well and then fold your arms so that your hands rest in the crease of your elbows. Allow your head to relax downward. Crown of the head points downwards, but lift your core muscles up into your body. If you want to stay a couple more breaths and work on straightening your legs as you did in the leg stretches earlier. And then drop your arms and bend your knees well over your ankles. Bring your hands onto your hips. Press your hips down onto your legs. Come all the way up to standing. And we've done well there. Let's move to the wall. And we're going to use the wall to rest the backside of our body on for support, but the feet are about 35 to 40 centimeters away from the wall. Just a moment ago, we did Uttanasana, the standing forward fold, coming out of dog pose. Now we're going to do it with the help of the wall. So, first of all, bring yourself into contact with the wall as much as you can at the moment. You can bring the back of your head to the wall, but if you've lifted your chin to do that, bring it back level with the ground. Bring your hands in contact with the wall and press the back of your head lightly into the wall. The wall is hard, so just do that to the extent that is a comfortable movement for you. But when you press the back of your head into the wall, kind of activates or encourages better posture. And the back of the head presses, and then you release. Try that with your shoulders. Shoulder press, release. Shoulders press into the wall, and then you release. Those are the movements that activate the scapula, the shoulder blades, too. And then how about those two movements at the same time? Back of your head, shoulders. Good. And release. Notice if you've overlocked your knees, keep the knees a little softer and internally rotated. Last thing that we're going to do here is to take the forward bend now. So moving your upper body away from the wall and coming into a partial forward bend. Bring your hands onto your legs for support. And if your pose is working the way mine is at the wall, then your buttocks are moving up the wall. And you're getting that hamstring stretch right at the very topmost part of your back leg, near to your buttock bones. In fact, you could hike your buttock bones up manually, just lift them up a little bit higher. Once more, make sure that you're not hyperextending the backs of the knees. The legs are lifting from the front thighs, from the quadriceps. Hold your shin bones, somewhere along your shin bones, straighten your arms, lift your chest, and lead with your breastbone. Draw the navel up, draw the pelvic floor up. And then we're moving out of Uttanasana, bend your knees over your ankles, and inhale, come up. Press away from the wall. While we've got the wall, and it's handy as it is, let's do some Utkatasana, the wall squats. So doing the yoga pose, but with the support of the wall. Come back to the wall. Rest your upper part of your body against the wall with your legs bending now. And this is a small squat. Bend your knees. Keep your hands loose by your side, your arms loose by your side. And as you bend your legs, keep your posture conscious, thoughtful, like you did before. Back of your head near to the wall, your shoulders pressing back. And then press into your feet and come all the way up. So let's say you've got a baseline now of how that felt in holding your wall squat. See if you can come down a little bit lower, deeper into your squat this time. And obviously not so far that you lose control of your thigh muscles that are holding you so well in the pose. So the front thigh muscles draw up from your knee into the hip fold. You've got your good posture, shoulders back, back of your head back, navel back. And then release, coming all the way up. Give your front thighs a tap. Good job. Inner thighs. Good job. Outer thighs. And we're not quite ready to leave the wall. So as you stand up straight, you're going to have, let's say, your left foot only a foot or less away from the wall. Balance on your left foot, a chance for us to do a balancing exercise, and keep your buttocks resting on the wall again. In fact, all of the back line of your body. Take the right foot up away from the floor, place your right foot on the wall, and you soon discover what height to have that foot because you need to recover your balance. So you're one-legged balancing, right foot presses into the wall. What's it like to move away from the wall all in one piece? Buttocks, shoulders, and head move away from the wall, and then very delicately back to the wall. See if you can make that left leg strong, move shoulders and back of your head away from the wall, and once more back to the wall lightly. It's quite a challenge to talk this through at the same time as doing it. So one more go. And like I said, talking and I lost it. But back into the fray and relax your shoulders. And one more time back to the wall and right foot on the floor. Good. Get a straight line balance, both feet. And then take your weight onto your right foot, bend up your left leg, place your left foot on the wall. I've got it pretty much in line with my right knee. And then taking a push through that wall foot and away from the wall. And we're trying to come forward and then back, all in one piece. And once more, push away. And the shoulders are still relaxed and back. I lost track. Is that the third time? One more time, I'm told. And lightly coming back to the wall. And then both feet on the floor. And give your feet and your legs a shake out. That was good work. And then let's take what we did there into that standing squat, Utkatasana, I think I'll use one of my yoga blocks for this. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's very helpful. So you've got a block to put between your thighs, just above your knees. And we'll see what that does for us. So as you're in Tadasana with your feet separated, as you need to with the block there, press your inner thighs against the block and feel the hips become very compact when you do that. And then we're going to take the squat, bring your arms forward and up. And what do we call this? Chair pose, but we know it's sitting back into the chair that's not there, but you're reaching your buttocks back as though it were, and reaching back, and arms are extending out, and chest is open forward. And we're ready to come to straight legs again, arms down by your side. And then let's go one more round. That was so lovely. And the knee bend, and the arms come up. And then drop your gaze to look down at your knees and see what it's like for you if you move your knees back a little bit. Don't lose your balance, so your weight is transferred more and more to your heels. And then stretch a little bit through your arms, through the little finger side of your arms, so the arms are fully straightened. Navel back. And up we come. And the third time that we're going to do this, all good things happen in threes, we're going to lift the heels and do proper balancing on the balls of the feet. So first the knee bend and the arms come up, and then a heel raise, rise, heels are up. Now your weight's transferred onto your forefoot, grip against the block, or keep the hips nice and compact. Stay on your heel rise, come all the way up, reach up, and lower your heels and your arms. Well, that was good work. For the time being, finished with the block. Let's take that nice balancing emphasis right at the end there to tree pose. So let's say I'm going to be near to the wall as a just in case. Turn your right side to the wall in Tadasana. Nice and calm. We haven't done anything too exciting just yet. Tadasana. Feel your footing. Drop your shoulders. Feel the front chest open and the arms lightly stretched by your side. Take your weight onto your right foot. Lift your left knee towards your chest, and you're going to take your left foot to your right thigh in tree pose, Vrishkasana. And as we know from this pose, this simple pose, when the foot rests against the thigh, you're pushing the hip, that's the outer right hip, towards the wall. Can you bring that sense of narrowness through the hips again by pushing the right thigh back against your left foot? And if you're well balanced there, let's call this well balanced, your hands can come into prayer position. Use the wall if you need to. Nice, narrow hips, and release your hands down and your foot down. Second side. Left hip facing the wall. The wall is there for support if you need to. Transfer your weight onto your left footprint. Lift your right knee. Place your right foot against your left thigh. And as I was saying, that pushes the left hip towards the wall. See if you can avoid that by pressing the left foot back against your right. Left thigh back against your right foot. When I do that, I I lost my balance there for a moment. So let me just be quiet for a second, find my calm center again. Foot against your thigh, thigh against your foot. And hands joined in prayer position. I always think that you're just praying for good balance when they join. And release, and well done, and shake out your feet, shake out your legs. And let's move on to a simple standing pose, warrior one pose. And we'll take it facing the short end of the mat. And standing in Tadasana. Let the shoulders go. Soften the crease at the elbows. Soften the backs of the knees slightly. Standing tall, create a slight lift through the pelvic floor, the abdominal muscles. And simply take your left foot back into a lunge. Left foot back, bend your right leg and take a lunge. And step up. And let's do that all over again, but take your left foot back a little further this time. So stepping back, and right leg bends. Make sure that the toes of the left foot are facing forward, so not turned out to the left side. So you might have to readjust that back leg. Draw the right knee back into its hip. So when the right knee moves back, it adjusts and squares the hips. Bring the arms to goalpost position so the elbows are crooked and the hands pressing forward. See if you can move your elbows back a little bit further and feel your shoulder blades. In a moment, we're going to step up as you lower the arms, stepping off the back foot and arms back down by your side. Well done. And second side and right leg back. Take a lunge and step up. And take that right foot back a little farther this time. Beautiful. Take a deep lunge with the left leg. Adjust the back leg so the toes are pointing straight forward if you need to. Keep drawing the left thigh back into the hip socket and bring the arms up. Just the elbows bent, and then we can move them back and wake up the back line of our body. One smooth step up as you lower your arms. And ready again for left leg. Come all the way back. Beautiful. Bend your right leg. When the arms come up, they're still bent. Elbows back. And then let's bring the arms fully into an overhead stretch, but wide apart. And feel that kind of, stretch through the arms where the elbows are straight, but open your fingers, open all of your digits, and feel the palm spread. And then take a big step forward as you lower the arms. And second side for that overhead stretch. And right leg back. First lunge, elbows bent. Good. Draw the left knee back. Then stretch the arms. Sort of a sign of victory, the arms wide, the elbows straight. And one step to bring us up and the arms down. Good. Let's add another pose. So link a second standing pose to what we've done. And left leg comes back. Big step. Take your bent leg position. Bring your arms straight up. And then turn your palms towards the center and bring the arms in nearer to your ears. Not all the way together. And then we're going to do a forward bend here. Picture it in your own mind and do a little motor planning for that. You're going to straighten the right leg and bring your hands down onto your right shin at the same time. Right leg straightens, arms comes forward and down. Think about the Uttanasana stretch that you did earlier when you were holding your leg, and lift your chest and draw it forward. So not so much going down where your chest will drop down, but keeping a lightness through the center chest so that the breastbone is opening forward. And then here at the last, you might take as deep a forward bend and even allowing the upper back to bend forward. Press into your right footprint, bend your right leg again, bring your arms to goal post, elbows back, feel your upper back engage, and then you're going to step forward and lower the arms in one movement. And then let's go the other side for that whole sequence, maybe with a little bit more pace. Bend your leg, goalposts, straight arms. Turn your palms inwards. Bring your arms in alongside your ears. Picture where you're going. You know the pathway now. Left leg straightens, arms come down. Keep your arms straight initially, and the front leg and back leg are straight too. Lift the corners of your chest. Draw your chest out. And then take a nice deep forward bend. Deep as you like, or hold back if that other lift of the chest suits you better. And then bend that front knee. Bring your arms to goal post again. And arms and leg straight. Step up. Good. Shake it out. You've done beautifully there. Let's do just one more standing pose. I'm going to face the long end of the mat this time. And I've got my block once more. Step out wide and have the block in front of you on the high end. Take a moment in your wide stance, just square your feet. For me, I need to bring my heels out a little bit wider to do that. So feel your strong supporting feet. Lift your toes, spread them. The whole of your footprint, the circumference of your foot. And then take a forward bend from your hip fold. So like you did when you were at the wall, now the buttock bones slide up. So you're lifting your tail, you're lifting your sitting bones to create that depth of forward bend from the top of your hips. And then grab that block, you place it on the high end, and have the heels of your hands onto the block. Do a slight lean forward and get the feeling sense of your feet, how they're supporting you. Is your weight on the inside of the foot more than the outside? Is your weight on the inner heel more than the outer heel? And can you find your way to spread the weight load across the whole footprint? Then pump up your chest a little bit. Bring the corners of your chest forward. Lift your navel up. Lift the back leg up. Keep breathing. All right, and then let's complete this pose, just if you wish, without the block, and bring your hands down. Use the block by all means if you prefer to keep that upright position. Otherwise, your hands down, your head down. You can bend your elbows and bring your hands back if that degree of flexibility is there for you. And a beautiful back leg stretch from the backs of your knees to your buttock bones. And then walk your hands away, forward, and lift your chest again. And let's go heel toe to center to bring the feet in. Bend your knees over your ankles and inhale and come up to standing. And what we're going to do next is to take a lying down position for a couple of baby back bends. We'll call them the small back bends. So lying prone on your mat. Bend your elbows and fold your arms in so that you can rest your head onto your hands. Do a hip rock. Shake out your buttocks a little bit. Roll buttock to buttock, or hip to hip, I should say. And feel where you're lying to adjust your legs so that your legs are very close together or just separated slightly. Then press your pubis into the mat. Lift your low belly away from your pubic bone. Now you've set up the lower part of your body beautifully to continue and work the upper part of your body. So bring your hands into cobra position, that is, place your hands flat underneath your shoulders and bring your elbows in close to your ribs. How close can you bring your elbows in? Well, try this. Lift your hands away from the floor and now bring your upper arms in close to your ribs, your elbows close to your ribs, and then replace your hands onto the floor and file away that sensation of your upper back supporting that movement of bringing your arms in, of your tricep muscles supporting that movement of keeping your arms close to you. And again, pubis presses down, hands lift up. Squeeze your armpits a little bit and then replace your hands onto the floor. Strengthen the lower part of your body again. One more time, hands lift up. This time, replace your hands onto the floor. Open your fingers, press your hands down, lift your head, lift your collarbones, lift your front ribs, but press the front of your chest forward. Imagine that you've got a spotlight there right in the center of your chest, and you're not only moving it forward, but slightly upwards. Keep your low belly drawn up. And then down to ground. Fold your arms and rest your head onto your folded hands again, and relax your shoulders. The second back bend we'll do is the locust pose, and rest on your forehead and bring your arms straight back towards your legs, elbows straight and palms pressing down. Press your pubic bone down, draw your belly up. See if you can get that sensation in your upper part of your arms again, so you're closing off the armpits a little bit more firmly. Then lift your head. You're still looking down. Lift your collarbones. We're coming up a little, not a lot. Press the tops of your feet down. And finally, lift your arms as well. So your head is up, but not completely. Looking down, your hands are up to your arms, the height of your hips. Then palms facing down, flip them over and palms face up. Palms down, rotating your hands, your wrists, your elbows, palms face up. 2 more times, down and up. Hold firm through the lower part of your body. And then finally, when you bring your arms down, palms upwards, head coming down, make a pillow of your hands again, your arms, and turn your head to one side. And then to the other side. Let's take the opportunity for one more Shalabhasana, locust pose, and bring your arms fully back alongside your body, elbows straight. Pubic bone, navel center up, tops of your feet pressing down. Head comes up that little bit. Your arms come up too. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Open your fingers and spread them wide. And then look to the right side. So your left ear is close to the floor, just a little lifted. And then rotate your head again and look to the left side. Your right ear just a little bit off the mat. And one more time each side. To the right. To the left. And then back to center. Release your head and your neck down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push into your hands. Lift your head and your chest and fold back, just but very slowly, into child's pose. Spread your knees and lower back. Once again, not the completely relaxed child pose. Come up on the tips of your fingers. Straighten your arms and lift your elbows well away from the mat. Open up through your armpits, stretching forward. Bring your chin towards your chest, looking down. Beautiful. And then walk your hands back. And coming up to sit. I'm going to be facing the camera now with my legs straight out. I've got a blanket here that I'll use for a platform to sit on. And take a little time when you're seated on your support to draw the buttocks back a little bit, rock side to side on your hips. For our counter pose in a twist, bend up your left leg, slide your heel in towards your buttock, and hold the front of the shin or the front of the ankle and draw yourself up to your full height. Feel your right leg long from hip to heel. And then let's add another element to this. You're going to step your left foot across your right leg to the outside of your knee. So we're going to get a stretch on the outer hip as well of the left leg. And still clutching the front of the shin bone and sitting tall, sitting pretty. Slip your right hand around the outside of your left knee. Now the flat of my palm against the outer knee bone and the left hand behind me. Without even having to do very much here, I've come into a gentle twist to the left side. And maybe we can increase the work in that by drawing that left knee closer to your ribs and your left hand farther around towards the right side. Once more, sitting tall. And release. And left leg straight with the right. Bend up your right leg, slide your heel in towards your right buttock. We're just in that open position and holding the front of the leg. How much can we lift out of the hips and become a little taller? Second part of this, and lifting the right foot to the outside of the left knee. Don't let go of your shin bone. Still clasped hands, hold the shin bone, draw up tall, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Good. And then let's get a good hand hold, not a hand hold, an elbow hold, hand hold. Left hand on the outside of your right knee, flat of the palm against the knee. Bring your right hand back behind you. Good. Get a good belly twist here. Good for your digestive organs. And if you do want to go one step deeper, then crook your elbow around the outside of your knee. Hug that knee in with the elbow bent around the outside of the knee and lifting up. And let it all go. And extend the right leg with the left leg. And we're going to complete today's practice with legs up the wall. So it will give us a chance to do an inversion and a relaxing one too. So I will use this blanket that I was sitting on for support underneath my hips so I get a little bit more elevation. You can use a bolster for that if you like. Or just have your buttocks on the ground and your buttocks right up against the wall. So my technique for getting into legs up the wall is another video on this series of Yoga with Eve Grzyzbowski. It's a little tutorial because sometimes people have trouble getting in snug to the wall where you want to be. But basically it's like this. It's sitting side saddle and I'm on my support and then doing a movement that lets me bring my legs up at the same time as I'm rotating my torso to lie straight again. And that's the thing, is sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to get there into your legs up the wall, into Viparita Karani. And along the way, you've actually twisted, torqued your body. So check it out. Eyes open still. Are you as close to the wall as you want to be? So sometimes there's this little buttock walk, shoulder walk that you do to get in, like I said, more snugly. When you're all the way to the wall and your legs rest on the wall, we've created this straight line. So the legs straight with the hips straight with the shoulders, and the head in line with the shoulders. And then what do we do with the arms? You could do nothing, and they finish up, and they're just a little bit out to the side like Shavasana. I always like to do things, I think, yoga-wise, maximally. So if I stretch my arms overhead, it feels like it's a greater opening for my center chest. But it's also kind of a stronger movement too. So you can have your arms overhead with your hands one cupped in the other. Or even the hands resting on the belly. Observe your body quietening down. And maybe you can sense and feel, because you're inverted, that kind of flow of energy from your feet to your hips to your shoulders. And for all of us, we might finish the legs up the wall, bringing your hands to rest across your navel, one hand above, one below, and connect with your breath there. Feel the quiet and the gentle by now coming and going of the breath. And I'm going to push away a little bit away from the wall, just to give my hips a bit of clearance there. And then roll over to one side without coming up just yet. And we'll finish today's session by sitting together. And folding your legs into cross-legged or sitting with your knees bent onto your heels. And finally joining your hands together in center chest, in front of the breastbone. Lift your elbows a little bit. Allow your gaze to drop downwards or close your eyes. We do the practice that we do for the promotion of health that it gives us, of well-being, of fitness, but also to connect with ourselves. So take this time with the hands resting in front of the heart center to feel your own energy that you fund through doing the yoga practice. And in this situation where we're practicing together, I thank you for practicing with me. And we say, Namaste.